allowed to trade out that hat for a while. I had a phenomenal night last night. I think I went 4-0.
And I had a good night. Mine wasn't phenomenal because I went against you and took Texas, laying the 3. You have the Texas Tech money line, and Mac McClung is your favorite player in the country right now, today.
Oh, he might be, man. So yeah, we'll get into the recap in a second, but we got to talk about this Mac McClung show because that was so much fun. For people that didn't see it, in the final minute 20 of the game, first and foremost, Texas Tech was down by like 15 in the second half at Texas, came back and won. With a minute 20 left, Mac McClung tried to throw himself a pass off of the backboard and dunk it over Jericho Sims. Got thrown to the ground, but drew a foul.
And if you haven't seen Mac McClung, YouTube Mac McClung, you might get some high school highlights, and you can see Mac McClung trying to throw the ball off the backboard to himself for a dunk. He's done that before in high school.
Yeah, he's like this 6'1" kid from Southwest Virginia who has ridiculous hops. But anyway, then he came back. Just like me. Then he came back on the next possession, comes down in one of the worst offensive possessions I've ever seen in my life, where he just dribbles the ball for about 10 seconds. Nobody else moves, and then he jacks up a contested long 2 with his toe on the line and hits it, puts Texas Tech up, completes the comeback. Then in the post-game interview, Fran Fraschilla is trying to ask him a question live on ESPN, and he's like, Fran, I respect you, man, but I got to get out of here. I got to go celebrate with my team.
You're the man.
Tosses off the headset and runs away.
You're the man, Fran, but I got to go celebrate with my teammates, so I'm out of here. And,
oh, man, it was
it's so funny because, like, Mac McClung off the court is, like, so endearing. Like, he's such a good kid. You could see it. On the court, he, like, drives me fucking crazy. And he's been better. Listen, the last few weeks, he has definitely been better. And I talked to Beard about it the other day. And he said, like, we're working with him. He's gotten better in his turnovers and his decision-making. You can see it. It's definitely, as I tweeted a month ago, and Georgetown fans went crazy on me. I said, like, Texas Tech, Mac McClung, way better than Georgetown Mac McClung because Beard is coaching him up. And what Beard doesn't want to do is take away what makes Mac McClung special, which is the ability to make a shot like that. So he needs a guy like that.
I mean, we said this in the preseason, Jeff. Like, both of us made this point. Like, this was the perfect marriage because the things that Mac McClung does well are the exact things that Texas Tech was missing. The things that Mac McClung does terribly are the exact things that Chris Beard demands of everybody in his program and everybody on his roster to be able to get on the court. So as long as, like, Mac buys in, and, like, if you're transferring to Texas Tech to play for Chris Beard, I'm just assuming that you're probably going to buy in. So as long as that happens, he's going to lift up Texas Tech. The program, Chris Beard, is going to lift him up. Like, to me, that was the perfect marriage.
Yeah, no doubt.
And one last thing on that, can I just say that, like, moments like that are what makes college basketball such an awesome sport to me. Like, where else do you get this guy that is a YouTube sensation that transferred out of a program from Southwest Virginia to Lubbock, Texas, is now coming out here, trying to throw the ball off the backboard to himself, hitting game winners, and then just completely blowing off one of the best ESPN commentators that there are to go and celebrate with this. Like, it's just moments like that are what makes college basketball so ridiculous and so much fun and so endearing. I loved every moment of that last night. It was awesome.
By the way, just so you know, I do have a heart out today in about 20 minutes because I've got a appointment, a Zoom call with Air District Court for a ticket that I got about a year ago. Let me see. What's the date of this? I don't know. It was pushed back. $255 ticket for texting while driving. I'm going to fight this thing. I'm going to win this thing, Rob. I never text while I drive, ever.
I got a speeding ticket this summer, and we were driving up to upstate New York to one of the chasms up there. I can't remember what it's called, but I was going 91 into 65, and the guy pulled me over. And he goes, "You know what I pulled you over for?" I was like, "I got a pretty good guess."
Did he give you a break or no? No break.
Yeah, like, so he was like, "We're going to give you a ticket, but I'm going to give you 75 for 65 because I don't want to come back to court."
Is that what he said?
So he's like, so please just like send, because he saw that my plates were from Jersey. So he's like, so please just like send this in by mail. I'm giving you a break. You're saving a bunch of money. You're not going to get points on your license, but just don't make me come back to court.
Rob, I'm just hoping he doesn't show up, but it's like you're on Zoom now. Like he's probably
he's going to show up now. What else is he doing today, man?
Like, how do they remember? That's my take on all this. Like I got lost. I remember it pretty well. I got lost and I was looking at my phone. I veered off the highway and I was looking at my phone because I was looking at the GPS, and my GPS in my car sucks. So like he may get me for that, and they may with keep it, but whatever. Hopefully, maybe he won't show up. Maybe he'll be out and about or something.
All right, so let's talk about tonight's slate. The big game, the one that I think I have the best feel on, is Indiana-Purdue. And just so people know, like when we say we have a good feel on something, I think we're like 4-0 on games.
Well, last night, if you were listening yesterday to us, you saw how giddy we were about Sharife Cooper and the Tigers. And it was like the combination, right? Like it was the perfect storm. I've made it clear on this over and over and over how much I think Georgia stinks. Mm-hmm. And then they get Auburn, and Sharife Cooper is back, and he's terrific. He is. I mean, obviously there is some warts there in terms of taking care of the ball and all that, but I'll take all those. And he doesn't really guard. But who cares? He could score. He could pass. He makes them a lot more exciting. He makes them a team that, honestly, if they had him from day one, Rob, they're probably an NCAA tournament team.
They're going to be an NCAA tournament team regardless, because when you add a player like that, like it has to be taken into account. It has to. And honestly, like they're probably going to win enough games. Like maybe I'm just overreacting to his performances, but my guess is they're probably going to win enough games where they'll be able to put themselves at the very least in the bubble conversation. They have no bad losses. If they go like 13-5 the rest of the way, something like that. I
just think that's hard to imagine, even though the SEC, as I've said, isn't very good. I don't know if they're going to be able to reel off that. The other part is, if you're the NCAA, are you taking it into account because the kid was suspended? Like you suspended him. You basically said, all right, well, that's the key. That ultimately, this isn't an injury. This is, a suspension that was never put out there.
Was it a suspension, or was it he was being held out and not being given eligibility? Because there's a very big difference between the NCAA not making a decision on his eligibility and the NCAA saying he's suspended. If he was suspended for impermissible benefit, or like whatever the NCAA decides they want to suspend someone for, that's a very different conversation than the NCAA saying, hey, we just haven't gotten to your case yet, so you can't play. You know what I mean?
They haven't gotten to it. It was that the father wasn't cooperating. That was a big thing. They weren't giving him everything. So I think more than anything, it's still – It doesn't go in the same bucket as Sharife Cooper had a, partially torn whatever and came back. Like, I don't know how they're going to look at it, but it'll be interesting.
I don't know how they're going to do anything in the COVID era. Before we get into that, I do just want to ask you, like, where do you stand on Sharife as a pro? Where do you stand on him moving forward? Because I think he's different from other guards that we've seen in the past that have, and I know it's like small sample sizes, but he's averaging 27 points and 10.5 assists, right? So other guys that we've seen put up similar numbers like Ja Morant and Trae Young, the difference between Sharife and those guys is that they had two elite skills. Trae Young, elite passer, elite shooter. Yeah. Ja Morant, elite passer, one of the best athletes that you're going to be able to find. And
a good enough shooter.
Yes. Sharife Cooper is an elite passer. What is that other elite skill that will make up for the fact that he is as small as he is? So
I guess the other elite skill that I would say, Rob, is that he's able to get to he's quick. He's not an unbelievable athlete. He's not an unbelievable shooter, which is why he's not going to go number 2 like Ja Morant or number 5 like Trae Young. Like maybe he can go in the second round. I think at the end of the day, maybe he's a late first rounder. I don't know.
I think he's probably more than that, just because you can see the production. Like you just can't overlook 27 and 10, right? And that's assuming that this continues. There's no guarantee that continues, but his change of pace stuff is so impressive. Like he can go from a kind of like slow walk up the court to, oh my God, he's by you in like one step, which is not
I think who he is
easy to do.
Like, who is he like? I got to think about that. I'm going to think about that.
It's tough, man. And without having that elite shooting ability to force defenses in the NBA to come out and play you, I don't know if that's going to work. Like, he's very, very intriguing as a player simply because of the production. Look, this is kind of stating the obvious. We got to see more. We got to see more against elite level competition. It's very hard to judge somebody against a Georgia team that doesn't want to guard at all, and an Alabama team that had no way to prepare for him because they didn't even know that he was going to play until day of. So I want to see more, but like, he's really intriguing, man. Like, guys that can pass like that, guys that can create like that that's an elite skill.
By the way,
a lot of people can do that.
By the way, I'm just reading the chat here a little bit. And San Fran 30, was Texas really deserving of the top 4 ranking before this game? Yeah, they were. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, their only loss was to Villanova. They, in case you missed it, they went into Lawrence and beat Kansas by about 100. And then they went to Morgantown and beat West Virginia. And those are 2 top 15-ish teams, however you want to cut it. So, yeah, they were definitely deserving of a top 4 ranking before this game. And to be honest, they had this game for 38 minutes. So
they probably should have won this game.
Right.
They kind of gave it. They gave this game away the same way that West Virginia. Well, I mean, the way that you got to think about it is like
this. Terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
But the way that you got to think about it is this: they gave this game away the same way that West Virginia gave the game away to Texas on Saturday. Like, it happens in college basketball. You can't really just look strictly at results. It's just you got to kind of see the big picture of how good a team is. And Texas is really good. They got lucky on Saturday. They gave a game away on Tuesday. Like, that's college basketball for you. Elliot Dunham wants us to talk a little bit about LSU, so we got to give them their props, man. We got to give them their props.
I guess. I mean, here's my deal with that one. Like, I like Arkansas. Okay, I do. And by the way, Texas now has 2 losses, and their only loss before that was to a Villanova team that, you know, is really, really good. So,
and we may never see again.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're practicing. Jay Wright had told me earlier in the week they might be coming back today to practice. So that's a good thing, I guess. Here's my deal with LSU beating Arkansas. I think Arkansas is good, but God, they have played the worst. Like, they have beaten nobody. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Arkansas is just not very good. And LSU has not been great either. Like, Watford was good yesterday. I just don't know if I buy into this LSU team. And post Skylar Mays, like, I feel like he just kept that team together through all the adversity. You know, started with Tremont Waters. He kind of kept them together as a point guard. But I feel like Skylar Mays was just the glue for that team and that program with everything they were going through. And now you just got a bunch of guys that I'm not sure how invested they are. I think, again, Watford's a really talented player. Javonte Smart, talented, but he's not really a point guard. I don't trust them. And the win against Arkansas was a nice win. But again, right now, it's not a resume win by any means.
Yeah, if they decide that they want to guard and they're going to go out there and we're going to see this team be like a top 50 team defensively, then yes, we can start talking about them as like very, very real and a real threat to get to the Final Four. But as it stands, right now they're just a lot of fun to watch offensively, and you never know when the team is going to end up coming back.
Yeah, Cam Thomas he's great to watch. He's so entertaining.
They're kind of like Iowa Light, is what they are. They can put up. They'll score 100 on any given night. They might also give up 95.
I always got that guy in the middle that you can just throw it to and let him go to work.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're right. They're not quite as good. They're kind of like what Iowa was last year. Maybe that's just the better way to phrase it.
Here's the thing. Iowa can't really guard. LSU doesn't want to guard.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
That's fair. That's a good way to put it. All right. So let's talk about tonight's slate. We only got about 8 or 9 minutes left before you have to go deal with your ticket, you renegade driver. Indiana-Purdue.
Yep.
I love Purdue in this spot. Love them.
I like them. I don't love them as much as you do, but I like them. Are you going money line?
I haven't quite decided yet. I want to talk it through a little bit and see what you think. So here's my logic. Purdue has won 5 straight, or they've won 7 straight against Indiana. They won all 5 in the Archie Miller era, and the reason for that is part of it is like the start. Matt Painter just had like it was when his program was at its very, very best, and when Indiana was in the process of changing coaches, so it's kind of understandable. Yeah. Last year, I would argue that Indiana was probably the better team, and they lost both games that they played against Purdue. Part of the reason for that is Matt Painter, what he wants to do defensively is kind of pack things in the paint, make you shoot jumpers over the top. Indiana. And the way Indiana's built their team is through Trace Jackson Davis, who has not attempted a three-pointer all season long, without really anybody that can shoot. And we don't know if Armon Franklin is going to play or be healthy if he does play tonight. So I think that all the matchup indicators to me scream bet Purdue. All of them scream bet Purdue. And I do the money line is really intriguing. I don't know if 3.5 points is really worth giving up. What is it, like 50% of the juice on the bet?
Yeah, I worry that this game is going to come down to the end. Like I think this could be a close game that Indiana wins. So I'd want the points there. I don't know if it's worth it either. I would take the points and take Purdue and say that like this is going to be a grinder game. And 2 of the better big men in the Big Ten and maybe the country. Like, honestly, Trace and Trevion Williams are both beasts. So it's going to be a low-scoring grinder affair, and I think it does come down. I don't think either team can run away from one another. So I'll take Purdue. I'll take the points there. I like that one as well.
Yeah, just real quick, that was exactly my logic because it's such the total's 130. And it's going to be such a low-scoring game that like those 3.5 points are much, much more valuable than like 3.5 points in a game where the total's 160. So, yeah. What else you got? There's a lot of stuff going on in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out west. Really, out west is where it's at tonight, and there's a lot of bad games in the Pac-12. And
it's the bad matchup part of the weekend. Like we're gonna get UCLA. We're gonna get Colorado State. Yeah. Next on Saturday, we're going to get Arizona and
no, we're not.
Oregon.
We're not. They're off. Oregon paused. Oregon.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We're not getting that. We're not getting that one. But listen, here's what I'm playing today in the Pac-12. I'm looking at them all, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I'm laying the points with a better team in the Pac-12 on each of them, and just going to say there's going to be blowouts. Like, Cal's not very good. We know that. They've lost 2 games to Oregon State. Oregon State's not very good. So I'm going to take – and Cal's without Matt Bradley most likely. So I'm going to take Colorado there and give the 13.5 for sure. I'm going to take Arizona and lay the 8 at Oregon State. I'm going to say that the home court advantage here in the Pac-12 is going to be meaningless for the most part. That Washington USC one.
Real quick for the record, the line for Colorado is up to 15 now. It's jumped since we started this year.
Really? Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm still going to roll with it. Don't love it as much. Arizona 8. The Washington USC one scares me a little bit, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm just going to stick with this plan tonight and go USC, give them 14.5, and then the same thing with UCLA, given the 9.5, and say I'm going to win 3 of those 4. And at worst case scenario, I'm going to split those 4. But I think I feel good that maybe they're all routes because there's a big disparity between, again, all those teams. But the one I like the most, I think, the 2 I like the most on the West Coast, I like San Diego State at Utah State. Remember, Utah State is a program that has a rabid fan base. They're out of their minds. And they really lose a home court advantage there. They also lost a kid named Sam Merrill. Now, I know Malachi Flynn's no longer at San Diego State also. I just think San Diego State is the better team here. They're getting 1.5. I don't know what the money line is.
Plus 112. The line's +2 now. It's plus 112. I like that too. That's one that I had circled with San Diego State winning.
Yeah. I like that one, and I like BYU at St. Mary's. Another one that, again, home court advantage generally gives St. Mary's, to me, more than 3 points. It's worth more than 3 at St. Mary's. If you've ever been in that gym, it is a high school gym. I've been there multiple times. It is awesome, rocking.
I'll give you a little bit of matchup logic for BYU there as well.
Yeah.
what St. Mary's wants to do and what they've always done under Randy Bennett is ball screen, ball screen, ball screen, ball screen, ball screen, ball screen, ball screen. That's what they
do that. I mean, Kuzi's good, but he's not.
They do. Kuzi's had a really, really good year.
Not Jordan Ford.
He's not Jordan Ford. But the thing is, so like Jordan Ford would come off those ball screens to score. Like they were one of the lowest assist teams in the league last year because all they did was had Jordan Ford come off the ball screen looking to score. Tommy Kuzi's coming off the ball screen looking to pass. And like everything that they do is kind of like ball screen roll man, ball screen roll man, ball screen roll man, hit him in the post. The thing about BYU, what they do really well defensively, because they have Matt Harms and because they have some other big guys and because they have Mark Pope, who's kind of built his defense this way, is defend the roll man and defend the post. Like that's what their defense is kind of structured on. So this matchup screams to me like the advantage to BYU. I really like it. I think that Matt Harms is going to be the best big guy, can kind of take away what St. Mary's wants inside. So I'm going with three small road dogs. I'm going to go Purdue. I'm not going to take the money line. I'm going to take the 3.5 with Purdue tonight. Yep. You talked me into it. I'm going to take San Diego State on the money line, and I'm going to take BYU on the money line. And I believe right now that is actually a pick 'em. So you're just getting the you're basically just betting straight up.
I'm going to add a couple other small ones potentially, or at least keep my eye on them. I already put in the Merrimack Mount St. Mary's over. It's 120.5. 120.5. I know these teams aren't offensive, stalwarts here by any means, but I just can't imagine they're not going to get 120.5 tonight in that game. So I went Merrimack over. Joe Gallo, come through for me. My man, I should have worn my Merrimack shirt with my Alabama hat today. Maybe I'll go flip into my Merrimack shirts after this. I think that's all I got for tonight. And I gotta lock in now.
Yeah, make sure you put it into BetSports. And if anyone listening to this has not downloaded the BetSports app, make sure you go do that. And you can follow us. You get all of our picks there throughout the day. One of the things that we have been doing is putting in picks, because as Jeff and I get information, mostly Jeff, I just kind of follow him. As he kind of gathers information, we can put in the bets and we can get it there before maybe it necessarily becomes I don't know.
Stanford, Utah, by the way, also. I'm adding that one. That's the fifth Pac-12 matchup there. I'm taking.
You love those Pac-12 games. All right, Jeffrey.
5 of them. I'm going 3-2, maybe 4-1 if I hit it right there. It's all about the West Coast tonight. Other than Merrimack, score some points, Joey Gallo.